Yeah, they make 18 2/2 tokens with haste. That is actually a problem. Use the incubator. There it is. That is a lot of tokens. Get down to the blocking.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Urtet Myr Tribal deck and find out what happens when we crack a Myr incubator for 40. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's two great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Urtet Remnant of Memnarch today. And today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Jeff. Formerly, he used to run Myr Battlesphere as a Rule 0 commander for this deck, but with the printing of Urtet, he has switched it over. I think there's another commander that he uses for it sometimes too. We are playing Myr Tribal today, and I've seen him play this deck in paper a number of times. There's some cute little spicy things in this deck, and every once in a while it does win a game. It's kind of a sit back and set up and try to combo sort of deck more than anything. Let's see, we got 2 lands, a Myr, card draw. That's the card draw, I guess. It's a lot of mana, but yeah, we'll keep this one. And so this deck is based off of a colorless deck, Myr Battlesphere. And so he had to kind of retrofit this deck. So with Urtet, you can run 5 colors, but you'll see that this deck is still largely colorless other than like stuff like this with mana symbols. Like, for example, we won't see any, like, green card draw in the deck, which would probably be a very good thing for it, but it just wasn't his original intent, and he kind of liked that colorless Myr thing, so that's what we're doing. Does look like we're going last. Razor Tide Bridge. I've never seen that one. That's some cool art. I like that. Also like that old frame. Love old frames. Not this frame. Brings it to our turn 1. There's a forest. Lands are good. We'll just lay down this Cascading Cataracts, I guess. I don't know that it matters too much one way or the other here. There's a Shadow Spear coming down. Yeah, those are pretty good. Agent of Shadow Thieves coming in. Haven't seen this one. It's a background. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It gains Death Touch and Indestructible till end of turn. Those are some pretty good keywords. Brings it to our turn. There's a Swamp. Yep, got to keep those lands going. We'll play the Tower. How much is our Commander? Commander is 3. Okay. Yeah, we'll just play the Tower, I guess. Lay in the Copper Myr. Seal of Cleansing. Not great for our deck. Really not great for our deck. But, you know, with this out here, that's already probably a more enticing target than a lot of things that we can play. This, fortunately, is indestructible. Let's take a read of our commander, by the way. So it's Urtet Remnant of Memnarch, 3 mana for a 2/2. Whenever you cast a Myr spell, create a 1/1 colorless Myr artifact creature token. At the beginning of combat on your turn, untap each Myr you control. That's fun. And then Wooburg, put 3 +1/+1 counters on each Myr you control. Activate only during your turn. Oh, that seems good. So with that would allow us to win without having to necessarily combo. We just need like some Myr in play, and you can make them all giant. If you do it twice, you probably win the game. Maybe we should start working towards some of that colored mana, that being the case. Play the Swamp. I think we just cast our commander. We can get up to... Yeah, I think we just cast our commander. I think we'll just get a little poke for 1. Myr untap, although we haven't tapped already. We'll attack Kana. They're open and tapped out. What is this? Tribute to the World Tree. Triple green. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is a combination of a bunch of old green cards that care about big creatures entering the battlefield, drawing cards, and if it's not, it makes it bigger. The Trample one is probably still better, but that's still a very solid card right there. I hate the Trample one. So, like, one of the things that bugs me is that, like, when you start looking at, like, these green enchantments like this, essentially they're doing 2 things. Like, the Trample one is both card draw and grants Trample. And, you know, when you look at, like, other similar enchantments in other colors, especially things with card draw attached to them, they don't do 2 things. Like, most card draw in other colors is just card draw. Like, there's no other function. And to me, that, you know, that kind of drives me crazy. Like, if you look at a card like Fervor, Fervor doesn't also have card draw attached to it, right? Like, it grants a keyword, same as the other one, but, or like Always Watching doesn't also have card draw attached to it. Imagine how insane it would be if it did. I would happily trade the +1/+1 for card draw. Give me Vigilance and card draw. That'd be fantastic. There's the 3 visits. Opponent casts their commander. It's Urza, Prince of Krug. 4 mana for a 2/3. Artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control, except it's a 1/1 soldier in addition to its other types. Is that a 6? That's really small. That's interesting. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact. Okay, so you can, like, find a ridiculous artifact and then just copy it a bunch. Seems like it could be silly. That's being piloted by Zombie Caller, by the way. There's an Arasta of the Endless Web coming in. Pretty good card. Over here we've got Erinis Gloomstalker. It is a 3-mana 3/3 Death Touch. Whenever it attacks, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it has choose a background. So probably doing some sort of graveyardy, maybe self-mill kind of thing. Not sure. There's a Kuldotha Forge Master. We'll want to wait for that Seal of Cleansing to go away before we really get into that. Notably, this is an enchantment which you can shoot with this, and whenever an opponent can, it's like not a bad idea because this thing can make a lot of tokens. We will play the Forest right here, I guess. We'll play the Mirror Matrix since it's indestructible. Not too worried about it getting blown up, so that's good. We untap our Mirror at the beginning of our turn. That's a 2/3, that's a 3/3, that's a 3/5. Not going anywhere. Well, actually, we could force it on Zombie. I'm going to force it on Zombie because there's a chance that he gets itchy and just shoots it with the Seal of Cleansing, which would actually save us a lot of trouble. Although, I'd sort of prefer the Seal stays out there for anything else that might come down. Like, as long as it doesn't hit one of our things, it's fine, but we'll force this 3/3 into Zombie, because we can. Yep. So, this is interesting, because now we've gotten rid of it, which is good. And it's not going to blow up one of our big things later on, like we can just lay this thing down if we want to. Though we should probably wait on it just because we don't really have things to sacrifice yet. But, so, I mean, we baited him and he took the bait, right? That's exactly what happened. Like, Zombie, I expect better of you. Here's the thing now, like, there are so many powerful enchantments in the game, right? Like, any singular enchantment from someone's deck can, like, completely alter a game. A Dictate of Erebos, a Rhystic Study, a Smothering Tithe, I mean, even a Fervor, which isn't, like, even an insane enchantment, but it'll still beat you if they have creatures. There's just so many powerful enchantments, and that's not even the big stuff, like True Convictions and Cathar's Crusades and all kinds of stuff. Like, unless he has a plan to get this back, you really got to be holding this. Because if you just leave it there, there is a good chance that, like, a lot of that stuff just doesn't even get played because no one wants to chance getting rid of it. So, we laid a trap for Zombie. Zombie walked right into it. And I don't say this to beat up on him, but I'm just kind of using it as a, like, learning moment about using removal. He definitely pulled the trigger on that too quickly. I posted a tweet about this with Aura of Silence recently, that, like, the threat of cracking a Seal of Cleansing or Aura of Silence is more powerful than actually cracking it. Because at the end of the day, it's like a single piece of removal. But the threat of it just sitting there that it could hit one of your things is far more powerful with these cards than the actual one thing that it shoots. Because then everyone's afraid, they're like, oh, I don't want it to shoot my thing. So everyone holds back their really good artifact or enchantment. That's a new Vorinclex coming in. Just take a read of this one. I haven't really read it yet. It's 5-mana 6/6. Trample, reach, enters the battlefield, search for 2 forest cards, reveal them, put them into the hand. Love that they don't come into play. Also love that it's restricted to forests, not any land. A short way of saying, I'm glad it's not prime time. Pay 8, exile Vorinclex and return it to the battlefield transformed under its own owner's control, only as a sorcery. On the backside, we've got the Grand Evolution. Step 1 is mill 10 cards, put up to 2 creature cards from among them onto the battlefield. That seems kind of strong. Then distribute 7 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures. Oh god. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain 1. This creature fights target creature you don't control, exile it, and then return it to the battlefield. There's a lot of modes on that. So much text on this cycle of cards. Just like a lot of abilities. I haven't seen them a ton yet because I haven't been playing tons and tons of late, but in the little bit that I've seen them and in looking at this one, like, it's sort of hard to play around these things because there's just so many different abilities that you're looking at. You're like, oh my god. It itself is a big dumb creature that also gets you mana. And then on the backside, you're doing graveyard stuff, you're making your team bigger, your creatures are fighting stuff. That's a lot of things to counteract. I mean, I guess if you just shoot it with some exile or something off the bat, that's probably a great idea. What is this? Kadira, Caller of the Small. 3-mana 3/3 trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, for each token you control, create a 1/1 white rabbit creature token. Okay. So it looks like we're doing a token thing over here. What are they playing? Jinnie Fey. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's an encroaching waste. Let's get the Shrine of the Forsaken Gods in. And I think we just recast our commander. Nothing to really do here, so I think we just pass. Flashes in a Wrath Capuchin at the end step. That's a pretty good play. This card is very powerful. Someone sent me a deck to play for it ages ago, and it was very strong. Everything you play has Flash. End step Avacyn Angel of Hope. No big deal. Yeah, Flash is a really powerful keyword, like, because you can always make the best decision about what you want. They cast a Hana during their main phase, which is not how you want to play that. Zombie, gonna get criticized for their play right here. Yeah, you should be holding that up because, one, the threat of leaving up a bunch of mana in a blue deck is terrifying. And two, you don't need to commit it yet, right? If someone drops a board wipe down, you're just gonna lose this. Where you could have just left it. Now, I will say that gets back the Seal of Cleansing, so maybe they had a plan in the Seal of Cleansing all along. Still, shooting Urtet is like not... I mean, Urtet's decent, but this is a card that'll beat you, right? Later in a game, maybe not right now, but later in the game they start dropping big creatures down and just never running out of cards. Yeah, that's... If you want to give yourself success in games, and it's not the easiest thing to do, and I've talked about it a little bit, but like in some other videos, but stopping your opponent's card draw, right? And you have the Seal of Cleansing play perfectly lined up to stop the card draw right here. Because there are many things that can beat you in a game of Commander, but card draw is consistently one of them. Vivian Reed. Yeah, that's got a -3 that shoots artifacts and enchantments, or creatures with flying. This says flying. Wouldn't be a bad idea to shoot that. Although with Planeswalkers, I don't know, I feel like people always get greedy, they start ticking up and doing that, then like, that's removal on a stick. If I played any of the green removal on a stick commanders, I'd just immediately be minusing them all the time. Yeah, they plus it. This one isn't as bad. What's the other one? Freyalise? I think it was the original Freyalise or something like that, where it makes an elf or it disenchants a thing, and like everyone always goes for the elf. I'm like, there are so many things on board you should be shooting right now. In this case, I mean, there's a few. There's a Shadow Spear out there. That card's pretty nasty. This is an enchantment. Tribute to the Wild. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact or an enchantment. Okay. Well, there's a little removal. What are we getting rid of? Probably our commander again. Does that make enchantment creatures or no? No. They're going to activate the Shadow Spear, just in case. I'm going to sacrifice our commander since I kind of want the mana from the Myr, honestly. Arasta down and... Why did... Oh, this zombie sacrifices a land? That can't... I guess they can get it back with Hana, but that can't be correct. Sacrificing the land just basically isn't ever the correct choice. Jinnie Fey, Jetmir second coming in. That's Kana piloting Jinnie Fey. This is a 3-mana 3/3. If you would create one or more tokens, you may instead create that many 2/2 green cat creature tokens with haste, or that many 3/1 dogs with vigilance. Cool little commander. Always wanted to play it. I don't think I ever did. Maybe I did. I know I played the other Naya one out of that set, which I also wanted to revisit at some point. But yeah, it's a cool little commander. There's a 3/3 coming our way. That's fine. Opponent makes a thing, draws a card. Yep, that's the thing. That's why you gotta be shooting this thing, because they will never run out of cards now. Cryptolith, right? Oh god, that's insane in that deck. That's a card worth shooting. That's an All Is Dust. I don't think it's time yet. I think still a lot of cards in hand, so I think we can slow roll that just a little bit. I think we have enough to recast our commander. Yeah, let's just get Urtet back in. Probably just going to slow roll this All Is Dust for now. Untap our Myr. We're getting to the point where people will probably start casting 2 to 3 cards a turn, so that's the time to All Is Dust, once they're kind of empty-handed. Hana getting back the Seal of Cleansing. Recast the Seal of Cleansing. A safety valve against Cryptolith and Tribute is good. Honestly, I wouldn't mind more Mana Myr. Seems pretty good with the untap ability. Avenger of Zendikar, you say? Might be playing that All Is Dust this turn. Avenger and Field of the Dead. Oh god. It's gonna be a lot of tokens. They're gonna plus again, trying to get themselves toward that ultimate. Unfortunately, they didn't cast as many cards as we were hoping. They just dropped one really big one. That's Galta and Mavrin. Oh god. That card is insane. 7 mana 12/12 with Trample. Whenever it attacks, choose one. Make a dinosaur that's equal to the greatest power among attacking creatures, other attacking creatures, or make X 1/1s where X is the number of attacking creatures with lifelink. Yup. Zombie shoots a tribute to the World Tree. That's a good idea. Slow down that card draw a little bit. Cryptolith Right is also still a thing. 3/3 our way. Triggers Galta. Yep. Kadira makes some 1/1s. Except they're now 2/2s. So I've been thinking for the past few minutes about whether I want to All Is Dust here, and the risky line is waiting, but we might lose the opportunity. The smarter play is to cast it now because there's only one mana up, so like it's gonna get through. The thing that I'm not in love with is that there's still 6 and 5 cards in hand over here, so it's not like it's just going to deplete them, but it will force them to have to like cast a bunch of stuff and do a bunch of things. From the current positions, opponents could like, with the Avenger, they're in a good position to just like play a land, attack, and sit on protection spells, which is not great. So I am going to go with the All Is Dust because of the way that it kind of forces the tempo and the fact that it's not going to get countered unless they have like a free counter spell or something. So also the Seal of Cleansing is down, which means we're not going to lose something in response to it. So I think it just makes too much sense right here to not do this. All Is Dust. Powerful card, probably doesn't get run as much as it should. Sacrifice is a big deal. And importantly, this gets rid of enchantments, which is really good. Like if you're in mono black, mono red, something like that, colors that don't deal with enchantments well, All Is Dust is great. I like Ugin better, but All Is Dust is a little cheaper. So we blow away a lot of stuff from opponents. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the right call. Like, we just crushed a lot of value because, like, we didn't really have that much going on. We spent so much time recasting Urtet already that we lost a lot of tempo. So, yeah, tempo-wise, that all makes a lot of sense, casting that. I think it would have been too risky to not cast it. The thing I was thinking about, though, was you had tokens over here and you had tokens mounting over here. If they start killing each other, like, that's helpful. Everyone's still, like, 40, 40, and 37. So, you know, that's kind of a thing. We'll send our commander into 7 deadly. But, you know, if they just turn in our direction because we're the easy target, and when you get to, like, these stages of the game, being the easy target is bad. Especially when there's not, like, if there's a threat and you have, like, a clear line into them, then it's fine. When someone might be the threat but is well defended, that's a whole different story. And that's kind of what I felt like was going on here. So, yeah, considered holding the All Is Dust, but it just made too much sense. And now we can cast this Adaptive Automaton and pump up our team a little more. Just kind of slow this game down a little bit, kind of bring it back to our speed. I imagine the green decks will rebuild really quickly. They do have a lot of lands in play. We got rid of this Vorinclex before it flipped. That's a great call also. Really don't want that thing on the backside. Or really just kind of doing anything, right? There's so many abilities on there. We are going to choose Myr. We have a 3/3 Myr. Pass like that. If we draw one more land, we can cast Kozilek. Come on, land. If not, we'll cast the other two and then pray for that land at some point. Wedding Ring. Oh, God. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Who's getting it? Really? They give it to the green deck? Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. Yeah, green decks always draw. 2 Field of the Dead triggers. Why are there... Oh, they copy it with something? They copied it with a Vesuva. Oh, man, this thing's so expensive to use. Shooting one is probably... I mean, shooting one doesn't really solve the problem, honestly. Don't feel great about that. Storev is a cool card. Deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. Return to your hand target creature or planeswalker that was put into your graveyard this turn, not in combat. A Wedding Ring. Old Gnawbone. Oh, God. That can beat you. Sword of Hearthenhome gets us to that land that we need. Also, pro-green is kind of a big deal. What are we doing? Cast a Hearthenhome. Put it on the Adaptive Automaton. Untap our Myr. Zombies open. We'll send that one over there. We'll send this one into Kana. We hit Hearthenhome trigger. To bounce anything or not to bounce anything. Yeah, bouncing Urtet's not the worst idea. So we have like one of each basic in the deck. Yeah, let's start pulling basics out. We'll get a Mountain. Let's cast the Forge Master. See if we can get this thing to stick. This is, if opponents know what's good for them, this is sort of a high priority target, though. May not stick. Pass like that. Could run this in Tap Creature Tribal if I put in the, was it the Flamewright guy that makes artifact tokens? There's got to be other things that tap and make artifact tokens, too. That's a lot of cards to ask for all at once, though. Although, yeah, maybe there's not tons and tons of artifacts in that deck. There's a few, but never mind. That's the fun part of Tap Creature Tribal, though. You must consider every creature with a tap symbol. You're like, does that fit? Can I run that in there? I've had a hankering to build a Sabo Tavik deck. I don't know when I'm going to find time to do that, but I really just want to play a Sabo Tavik deck. Zombie's going to recast her commander. Urza, Prince of Krug, coming back to play. Land off the top would still be good because we can just drop the land in and get a draw 6 with this Kozilek. And I feel pretty good about a draw 6. End step. Windgrace's Judgment, hitting the sword, the gnawbone, and the commander. You know, as much as I'd like to have the sword, I'm glad to see the gnawbone go down. We got the land that we needed so we can get to the Kozilek now, so that's not the worst Windgrace's Judgment I've ever seen. Because, I mean, with that old gnawbone, they cast most of the cards in their hand next turn, probably. And then it's even worse the turn after that, so I can live with that. Is there a Buried Ruin in this deck? Should probably take a look at the deck list, by the way. Haven't done that yet. Move that over. There is a Buried Ruin in the deck. Maybe we'll find that at some point. We can get that sword back. Here's a look at the list. Nope, more Field of the Deads. So we see a lot of Myr, because it's a Myr Tribal deck. We see some classic tribal stuff like Vanquisher's Banner, Myr Turbine, Myr Matrix. One of the combos is with Myr Turbine. No, it's not that one. There's another one. Myr Incubator, maybe? Yeah, it's this one. Search your library for any number of artifact cards, exile them, then create that many 1/1 colorless Myr tokens. So if you do that at the end step and exile like 20 creatures, you get 21 ones, or 20 artifacts rather, and then you can either pump them up with Urtet, or there's a few other things in the deck that do it too. There's that new thing. He got me with it the other day. I don't even remember what it's called now, but it turns all of your artifacts into like 5/3 juggernauts or something. I don't remember the name of it, but I think he was running that in the command zone, and that was also pretty strong. So there's a Ugin up there as well, big and powerful. Got some Eldrazi. You're in colorless. You need the power, right? Everything else is pretty weak in the deck. The combos in the deck are solid, but just like individually, each card is not the strongest, so you do need a lot of them. You do need something to kind of tie it all together. Opponent's going to get back their Vorinclex with the Storiv. Yeah, it's not great. They hit Kana with that, by the way. Vorinclex back to play. Yep. Can search for 2 forests. Agent of Shadow Thieves. Oh, that's the one from earlier. It's back. I didn't see how they got it back, but Wedding Ring. Goldspan Dragon. Oh my god. Gnawbone with the Goldspan Dragon? That would have been terrible. That is, they cast every card in their hand. Goldspan by itself, still good, but not nearly as threatening at this stage of the game. Doesn't just make you automatically lose, so I can appreciate that. 4 coming our way, that's fine. Brings it back to our turn. Hedron Archive. Was hoping for the land right there just to get more card draw, but yeah, I think we're just going to go straight for the Kozilek right here. So the other thing that we could do, if we wanted to be quicker about it, we could go for the Kuldotha Forge Master at the end step, and then do our Myr combo thing with the, which one? The Incubator, I think. And, that would probably set up a game-winning play. But I do just want to have the card draw for, like, consistency right here. Also, being able to counterspell stuff is, like, really powerful. Because the thing we have to worry about right now is either, like, some really big offensive play or a board wipe. Those are kind of the two that were, like, setup plays don't bother us that much. Sort of like the Goldspan. So, Kozilek gives you some ability to stop those things, assuming you have the right CMC to discard. Also, I just want to make the land drop. Have we made all of our land drops? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've missed one. If we make one right now, we can make them all. Opponent is going to return to the Wild Speaker. Ah, that's fine. Yeah, probably not wanting to get the card draw. Also, probably giving Zombie the card draw. Maybe hoping Zombie will find an answer. So they draw 4. We draw a bunch of stuff. There's the land. Decent number of CMCs covered. Let's play the Urza's Factory. So yeah, we've made every land drop. And then we'll just play this guy because it's one more thing we can sacrifice. Oh, also that makes a Myr, which gives us more sacrifice fodder. So yeah, I like this. And then, assuming that nothing goes horribly wrong, we use this to go get the, what you would call it, Incubator, I think. And then we end step that, get a whole bunch of creatures in, and just pump them all up with various effects. We could probably chip for a little more damage. Untap some Myr. Put the commander over at Kana, and this one over to Zombie. It's easy to forget how strong this thing is. Also an interesting card in that, when this came out, colors like mono red, mono white did not have great card draw. Equipment were usually your best bet, some wheels in red, but this used to show up a lot more, and now that you can get cheaper card draw in those colors, it's not quite as necessary, but it's still very strong. Funny that, like, I view this one differently than I view the other legendary Eldrazi. I don't know why that is. Seems like easier or something. I don't know. Like, it's not as deadly. Like, Annihilator is a very deadly mechanic, but 12/12 with Menace can still beat you, but Yeah, it's just weird that, like, I would consider this for a deck before I would consider the other Eldrazi. Maybe it's because I have a couple in a box. They weren't terribly expensive once upon a time. They might be now. But the other Eldrazi have, like, always been very expensive because they, for many, many years, they were the best finishers in the format. So just, like, every deck that could afford them ran them. Myr Retriever can get that sword back also. Not the worst thing I've ever heard of. I'll say we hit pretty well with the draw in the sense that we only caught one land. Flooding on lands right there would have been really bad. Zombie says he has an 8-drop. We don't have an 8-drop. So I said go fish. I'm hoping it's not an 8-drop board wipe. That would be bad. It's an overwhelming splendor on the green player. Yeah, that works for me. I was getting a little nervous about what 7 Deadly was going to be doing here. If I haven't introduced him, that was 7 Deadly piloting Erinis Gloomstalker, by the way. I got hit with one of these the other day in that Aurelia 10 Swords video. Super nasty. Counter the tutor or counter the thing that they tutor for? Counter the tutor. I'll trade an Astronaut's Altar for that. Good card, but Grim Tutor says solve a problem, and I'm not sure that I want that. I'm not interested in finding out how they're going to solve the problem. Yeah, it's a nasty card too, because it's like one of those things where it's like, we have no incentive to ever get rid of this. That's the Damnation. Yeah, we will also counter that one. This Lodestone Mirror doesn't seem all that amazing. I think I'll take the Hedron Archive instead. Still got 2, 4, and 5 CMC covered. Wouldn't mind recasting this somehow, because we're running low on cards again. Plays a land, Field of the Dead, still just, oh my god, 2 Fields of the Dead. Is this land ban-worthy? Right? Like, it does so much for so little effort. Right? Like, it's basically impossible to attack a player who has a Field of the Dead unless you have, like, a pro-black sword. Even then, the crackback is going to be terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Field of the Dead seems like a little too much. And, like, there's a lot of powerful lands in this format. I get it, but Field of the Dead just has, like, no cost associated with it. It's just too easy. Like, Maze of Ith, at least you'll lose a land drop, right? Cabal Coffers, like, doesn't take over the game immediately. Takes a little while. You know, give it 8 turns, and sure, it'll be a problem, but Cradle's really bad up front. Cradle at basically any point in the game that a board wipe didn't just go off is a problem. Swords on the Kozilek. Well, we can gain some life. And our big creature goes away. Makes me sad. Elemental Bond. Jinnie Fey back to play. These are all 1/1s, thankfully. Yeah, that is, like, actually, that is very helpful. That's gonna, yeah, the difference between a 1/1 and a 2/2 token is, like, fairly sizable. Goldspan coming back our way. Yeah, we're still way open in the air. Opponent makes, well, instead of a treasure, they're going to make a 3/1 cat, which will draw them a card. Dog? Is it a dog? It's a dog. All right, let's start setting up. Oh, a Chroma's Memorial? We could also just get in a Chroma's Memorial. Play the Ghost Quarter. The key will be to make sure we leave enough mana up to do everything. 12 total mana. Man, just going for a Chroma's Will seems really fun. Although, it's like, it's not that much damage. Does it have to sacrifice itself? Sacrifice 3 other artifacts. No. It is... Oh, I might have done all this way differently if I had read this closer. Okay. Cast the Vanquisher's Banner. Oh, that's a Ghost Quarter, by the way. That's actually going to be really good against the Field of the Dead. Get the Vanquisher's Banner. How much mana is left? Choosing Myr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we go this one, and then that one, this would untap. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that should work. Okay. Get the Myr Retriever. Vanquisher's Banner and Urtet will trigger. Draw a card. It's a land. Maybe we just play it cool for a second. Untap our Myr. This 4/4, actually reasonable. Send this one into zombie, I guess. I think we'll leave the others back. Opponent will block 1 with a dog. That's fine. Trying to slow the bleeding. It's easy to forget how strong this card is. It doesn't show up all that often, but it can be really good. Especially, like, now that treasures are everywhere, like, kind of bears worth taking another look at this thing, because tutoring directly to the battlefield is really good. You do need to have, like, worthwhile artifacts to go get, which is the thing, but definitely something to think about. Oh, God. Well, we won't be casting that much more, so I guess that's fine. Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, who hurt you? Cloud Key, seems good. Oath of Gideon. Yeah, I think we're just trying to dodge a board wipe at this point. Feel pretty good about our position. Still a good number of cards between opponents, though. Zendikar Royal. Powerful card. That's 3 2/2s per land. I guess they're 1/1s with the Overwhelming Splendor still in. Yeah, that's a lot of value for only making land drops. A lot of value. I will say, too, because I've played against Jeff a number of times when he's played this deck, this is an easy card to underestimate. And especially with the combo into the Myr thing that we're about to go get, you don't realize that it's all happening at the end step, and I don't think opponents have realized that either, or even if they have, they just may not have the tools to do anything about it, because we stopped the board wipe, we stopped the tutor, so it's, you know. 2 players are tapped out. Let's see what Kana's got. They've got 8 cards. They'll go up to 9, maybe draw 1 or 2 more with this. Not tons and tons of mana. They've slowed down on land drops, it looks like. Looks like they're on 9 mana, so they're a little behind the turn count. They'll be even with the gold span. Although, does that have to make creatures? You may. You can choose not to. Soul Ring. Okay, a little more mana. Soul Ring is fine. Dockside, less fine. Don't know that there's a lot we can do about it. Just going to have to hope it doesn't get too bad. This is going to be a ton of mana, though. Oh, God, they can all have haste. That is a problem. Yeah, that card. That card. Yeah, they make 18 2/2 tokens with haste. That is actually a problem. I think our Myrs are 3/3s, which is relevant. And it's really true conviction. Cool, so 1 million of them will be coming in our direction. Literally all of them. Awesome. We actually kind of have been doing a soft band on Dockside. I didn't say it before the game, so that's probably on me. But yeah, we haven't been playing Dockside in like non-high power games because it does stuff like this. Because, like, we were in a perfect position, basically, right? And now it's... Even with this play, we might still lose. We need to sacrifice 3 other artifacts. We are going to need maximum number of blockers. So, sacrifice this Myr token, sacrifice this guy, and sacrifice... I mean, we are going to sacrifice this because we do want to get the sword back, but hopefully that doesn't get us killed. Actually, well, we're still going to be making a lot of blockers. The problem is we might be losing all of those blockers. These are all 2/2s with double strike. Get back the sword. There isn't a fog that we can tutor for, is there? Or a board wipe? Let's take a look. Chroma's Memorial does not help us on green, which is... No, we need the creatures more than anything. Coat of Arms. That's interesting. How many artifacts are in this deck? That's a question, because we're going to need to block 20. This is more than 20. Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to get every artifact in the deck, save for maybe a Chroma's Memorial. Okay, I think we can do this. Gotta make sure we get the right one. Is it Incubator? Yeah, it's the Incubator. Get the Incubator. Use the Incubator. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have to be everything except the Memorial. Oh man, if we can pull this out, though, it's gonna feel really good. Alright, this is gonna be, like, at least 40. I think this is a pile of 13 right here. It's going to be right around 40 tokens. I left Forsaken Monument and a Chroma's Memorial in the deck just to have something left. This is a really cute combo, by the way. Like, I've lost to this a couple times, but can't be too upset about it. This is how a Myr Tribal deck wins a game. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Hopefully it doesn't crash. There it is. That is a lot of tokens. Get down to the blocking. I think these are all going to trade, too, which is good, just in case something should happen. Oh, they're going to gain so much life, though. The life gain's going to be an issue. I actually don't know if we can kill. Yeah, because they're just going to gain an absurd amount of life. Now, they're going to lose all their tokens, which is a thing, but... Okay, I think there's about 4 that are going to get through. I think that's fine. Their life total is probably going to be like 100, though. We might be able to make up that damage. If we use our commander twice... Zombie's gonna gain 1 million life. Oh god, that's so much damage we have to pump out now. We probably don't have the colors to activate the Myr thing twice. That's unfortunate. We go down to 14, which is lower than I thought. Yeah, opponent's up to 99. That means that Zombie's probably gonna go right around there too. This is gonna be tricky. I don't think we can kill all 3. This is the most action I've seen out of a wedding ring. Apparently it's really good on a player with a true conviction. Oh, no, it crashed. Oh, my God. This game is too cool not to show also. So, sorry to you guys. I'm going to try to piece together to see if we could win that game. Let's try to figure this out. We're going to look at this in Paint because Windows Media Player is terrible and scrolling anywhere in these videos takes like 5 minutes. So we're going to figure out how much damage we had. Kana, I've been talking to him to him in the chat after the game, said that we had about 140. After the double strike trigger goes off, Kana goes to 99. Zombie is going to be, I forget what Zombie's at, probably like 120. Way to zoom in this program? Probably not. Oh, yeah, there we go. So I assume this is a 10 stack. They usually stack them in 10s. So that should be 20, 8, 9, 10. That's also a 10 stack. So there were 30 left right there. These are all 4/4s, plus 2 more 4/4s. Urtet was, I think, a 5/5 at that point. Let's get the calculator out for this. Okay, so we got a calculator. So what did we just say? We had 32 4/4s. That's 128. Okay. So that's enough. So here's the problem. The problem that we're looking at in this game is that if any player that we don't kill could either potentially kill us or have a board wipe. Both of those would be bad. Zombie being blue-white, high likelihood of board wipe, but killing Zombie gets rid of the overwhelming splendor that's holding all these 1/1s in check. Now, Akroma's Memorial should theoretically keep this in check, but you never know when a Crater Hoof or something stupid like that is going to show up and just ruin your day. So, that's also not a chance that I was really, like, hoping to get involved in. Urtet untaps itself, correct? Yeah, it untaps all Myr. It itself is a Myr, so it would untap itself. And the ability on this is 3 +1/+1 counter. So that would have been the thing that we were going with. So activating that ability means instead of 32 4/4s, we would have 32 7/7s. That's 224 damage. That's interesting. If we then needed additional damage on top of that, Forsaken Monument was still in the deck, so that'd be an additional +2 if we needed it, but I was thinking about Akroma's Memorial. So let's see here. Kana was at 99. Zombie would have been about probably 120, so that's enough to kill Kana and Zombie. The question is, what did Seven Deadly have in hand? All right, so I just talked to Seven Deadly. Seven Deadly said they had Eternal Witness in hand to bring back the damnation from their graveyard, but Overwhelming Splendor has to go down so that Eternal Witness actually does anything. And that play would wreck us. That would be really bad. And so that was what I was worried about by this whole thing. So, like, if you kill Zombie and get rid of Overwhelming Splendor, then I was worried about Seven Deadly actually coming back to kill us, which means, and I don't know if I would have did this in this situation. I was thinking about it, but I hadn't made a decision one way or the other. I was kind of just going to see how big everything was before I started committing to plans. I think that actually means that killing Zombie and Seven Deadly is probably the best call, because Kana just made their big play, right? Like, Dockside is probably the biggest play they're going to make right there. They don't have tons and tons of mana. They were about at the turn count, so they were doing okay. But no, they had actually less lands in the turn count. So, you know, medium amount of mana, 5 cards left, some decent setup pieces with the enchantments and stuff. But because all their creatures were going to go down, I have to wonder if leaving them alive is the correct call and then going after these two, because Zombie's got 6 cards, Seven Deadly's got just, it's green-black. You don't want to mess around with the green-black deck, right? And I think that would have been the correct thing to do. Whether I chose to do it in the heat of the moment, difficult to say. So I talked to Kana even after all of this, and Kana said that they had a farewell in hand, which means that the only real correct choice is leaving Zombie alive, and I don't know that that's the choice that I make in this situation. So we probably get cleaned out by a board wipe, and then just get forced into scoop time because we have literal nothing left after that. So that's probably how this would have played out. The other question is, does getting the... How many blockers are there? So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blockers right there. Yeah, 11 blockers is kind of an issue. The choice between Akroma's Memorial and Forsaken Monument is sort of the tough one there. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me through that to figure out kind of what might have happened. So here's a look at the deck. It's a cool deck. It's got some really interesting stuff in it. The Myr Incubator play is really sweet. He's gotten me with it a number of times. And it's not one of those things that you really expect. Same sort of thing with the Forge Master. You're just like, I don't know what it's going to be, right? And if you do the Incubator at the end step, then that's a number of creatures that is very difficult to answer at instant speed. You're basically looking at like a Settle the Wreckage comeuppance to try to get out of it. I wonder if there's probably some other like little tricks in here that I could have built in for redundancy if I like if there's one or... Oh, That's what we should have did. If we left Coat of Arms, because I exiled Coat of Arms, if we leave Coat of Arms and then get that, then that's easy lethal. Like, yeah, because there were 30 of them, so they'd all get plus 32, plus 32. Yeah, that would have been the smart play. Okay, yeah, so there was a way. So if you're more comfortable with the deck and know what you're doing, then yeah, that's probably the smartest thing to do right there. But that would have been interesting. So anyway, cool game. Sorry it crashed. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.